Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another presentation from the Decentralized Nicosia chapters. And together with us today, we have two presenters, two people that are quietly involved and very passionate about the crypto space. And they will be presenting on two different topics. The first topic is the premise of DeFi, where we will see a little bit more about the Terra Luna case, what bring the havoc in the market in the last few weeks, and how is it related to the Terra case. And another topic we will be discussing is the topic of financial privacy. Together with us is Anthony Afinos. Anthony entered the crypto space in 2020, primarily in the DeFi space, although 2 years of time might not sound a lot for someone within any industry. But me personally, knowing Andonis and his passion about the space, I can vouch that this is going to be a very interesting presentation regarding the Luna Terra case. As a DeFi enthusiast, Anthony strives to share his knowledge and advocates for education that will bring mass adoption for cryptos and related technology. And another presenter is George Papioliou. George spent most of his early career in investment banking in London at various financial institutions. And having started to question the current financial system, he started seeking some alternative solutions. So he entered the cryptocurrency space in 2019. And since then, he's full-time into the crypto space and has helped many newbies and experienced investors to understand the philosophy behind crypto. And he touches topics related to financial sovereignty and financial privacy. So without any further delays, we can start the presentations. And make sure that you post any questions that you may have within the chat group, and our presenters will try to answer them to the best of their capabilities. So, Anthony, by all means, are you ready to start the presentation?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Would you like to share your screen with us?
Yes, just a second. There we go.
So,
is it visible?
It is visible, yes. The stage is yours, Anthony.
Okay. So, good afternoon from me as well. Thank you for attending our meeting. Over this presentation, we would like to talk about the premise of decentralized finance, otherwise known as DeFi, and we will look deeper into the Terra Luna case and what caused mayhem in the markets recently. Let's start with the basics. What is decentralized finance? Decentralized finance, or DeFi, also known as open finance, represents a broad category of financial applications being developed on an open decentralized network or blockchain systems. DeFi may be defined as the movement that promotes the use of decentralized networks and open source software to create multiple types of financial services and products. The idea is to develop and operate financial dApps on top of transparent and trustless framework, such as permissionless, blockchain, and other peer-to-peer protocols. Currently, there are the three largest functions of DeFi are: number one, creating monetary banking services, for example, issuance of stable coins. Number two, providing peer-to-peer or pool lending and borrowing platforms. And number three, enabling advanced financial instruments such as DEX, tokenization platforms, derivatives, and prediction markets. This is now possible on smart contract blockchains like Ethereum. Smart contracts are programs running on blockchain that can execute automatically when certain conditions are met. These smart contracts enable developers to build far more sophisticated functionality than simply sending and receiving cryptocurrency. These programs are what we now call decentralized apps, or dApps. You can think of a dApp as an app that is built on decentralized technology rather than being built and controlled by a single centralized entity or company. While some of these concepts might sound futuristic, for example, automated loans negotiated directly between two strangers in different parts of the world without a bank in the middle, many of these dApps are already live today. There are DeFi apps that allow you to create stable coins, cryptocurrency whose value is pegged to the US dollar, lend out money and earn interest on your crypto, take out loan, exchange one asset for another, going long or short on assets, and implement automated advanced investment strategies. dApps are designed to be global from day one. Whether you are in Cyprus or in the US, you have access to the same DeFi services, services and networks. Of course, local regulations may apply, but technically speaking, most DeFi apps are available to anyone with an internet connection. So why decentralized finance? It's permissionless. Anyone with an internet connection can access. Censorship resistant. No third party can stop a transaction. It's immutable. No third party can reverse a transaction, Reduce counterparty risk. No need to trust a centralized third party to custody funds or validate transactions. Transparent. Public blockchains like Ethereum are completely transparent and auditable. This builds a different kind of trust with users because anyone has the opportunity to understand the contract's functionality and find bugs. All transaction activity is also public for anyone to view. While this may raise privacy questions, transactions are pseudonymous by default, not tied directly to your real life identity. Open source. Anyone can develop or modify the code. Programmable. Smart contracts can be coded for a specific task and self-execute. Efficiency. Powered by code, not humans. Composable. Combine different protocols to create new financial products and services. Flexible user experience. Don't like the interface of a certain dApp? No problem. You can use a third-party interface or build your own. Smart contracts are like open API that anyone can build an app for. Interoperable. New DeFi applications can be built or composed by combining other DeFi products like Lego pieces. For example, stablecoins, decentralized exchanges, and prediction markets can be combined to form entirely new products. DeFi is now one of the fastest growing sections in crypto. One of the main premises of DeFi are stablecoins. As such, I believe it will be well worth breaking down some of the underlying ideas and the important terminology. There may be some distinctive approaches to stablecoins. However, let's stick to what is considered to be the primary categories. There are three unique types of stablecoins. Fiat-backed, where the crypto asset aims to maintain a stable value by holding fiat currency in the reserves, for example, USD or Euro. And over 99% of fiat-backed stablecoins are pegged to the dollar. Crypto-backed, where the crypto asset aims to maintain a stable value by holding other crypto assets in reserve. For example, Bitcoin, MKR, Ethereum, etc. Commodity-backed. This is a lesser known category where the crypto asset aims to maintain a stable value by holding a commodity such as gold or diamonds in reserve. So there are currently three options for what you hold in your reserve: fiat, crypto, or commodities. You can then have full or partial reserves. If you hold these centrally, then you are a centralized stable coin. And if not, then you are hybrid or decentralized. The reserves can then be managed by a simple one-to-one creation mechanism, or you can create an algorithm to help you manage the price peg. We saw a rising interest in UST and Luna because of the disturbing idea of a decentralized stablecoin. So now we'll try to explain what is UST, what is Terra, and the relationship. But before we do that, we need to provide some information for context. Doc Wan and Daniel Shin founded Terraform Labs in 2018. Shortly after, the team founded Terra and later launched its mainnet blockchain in April 2019. Terra was built by Terraform Labs, or TFL, a South Korean software company, which was incubated by the Terra Alliance, a group of 15 Asian e-commerce giants. Terraform Labs is based in Singapore. Doc Wan has served as the CEO of Terraform Labs since its inception, and Daniel Shin left Terraform Labs in early 2020 to become the CEO of the Chai Corporation, a payment app that leverages Terra. Terra development is coordinated by the Luna Foundation Guard, or LFG, a Singaporean non-profit organization. LFG's most important role is to ensure that UST's peg remains stable at all costs. Terra is a decentralized payment ecosystem. It's based on Cosmos blockchain that uses fiat-pegged stablecoins to create a cryptocurrency that does not fluctuate with the cryptocurrency market, hence mitigating the vulnerability of a volatile cryptocurrency. Terra features its native token, Luna, which is used to secure the protocol's stablecoins. Furthermore, this native token enables users to vote for network governance. What's interesting here is that Luna does not have a fixed supply because its supply changes to the number of stablecoins on the market, hence balancing the value of stablecoins. How does Terra work? Terra protocol operates on its blockchain, which means it's not dependent on other blockchains like Ethereum. Additionally, its system incorporates proof of stake consensus mechanisms, which are powered by Cosmos SDK and Tendermint blockchain. This means that validators that run several nodes can complete transactions in exchange for a reward. The blockchain has implemented a dual token system between the stablecoin Terra USD or UST and Luna. USTs are minted by burning Luna and can also be swapped for Luna. For example, if the UST value goes above $1, the equivalent value of Luna will be burned, which means more UST, making it less valuable. Whereas if the UST price drops below $1, they are swapped for Luna, which in turn makes UST more valuable. They rely on each other for stability. Burning Luna coin is essential to this dynamic as it incentivizes users by giving Luna its value and UST its stability. There is or was a limit of 1 billion Luna coins in circulation. And if this number is exceeded, Luna is burned. UST can always be burned to mint $1 worth of Luna. If UST is trading at 150 and you hold Luna, you could burn $1 worth of Luna to mint one and a half UST, and then sell that UST for another stable coin, USDC, for example. The result is an instant 50% profit. And the increase in UST supply, combined with the sell pressure for Luna holders who are minting and selling UST, eventually bring UST back to its $1 peg. The prospect of these instant profits creates buying pressure for Luna as well. For example, if UST is trading at just 50 cents, as a UST holder, you could burn 1 UST and essentially mint twice the dollar amount in Luna and make a 2x profit, assuming you immediately sell that Luna for something else. The reduction in UST supply, combined with the buying pressure for UST from traders who want to make a quick profit, eventually brings UST back to its peg. This is why UST is referred to as an algorithmic stablecoin. A depegging of UST to the downside runs the risk of something called a death spiral. So let's try to explain the death spiral. When UST drops below its peg, there is a huge incentive for traders to come in and buy that UST, burn it to mint Luna, and sell that Luna for an instant profit. When the crypto market is on the decline, however, this process becomes a problem because there's not much speculative demand for Luna, and that means its price is going down while it's being aggressively sold by UST holders. This makes its price fall even further and causes panic among UST holders because there are not enough Luna buyers to absorb the volatility from UST or rebalance the mint burn mechanism. As a result, UST's peg drops by a lot. It's worth noting that the majority of demand for UST was coming from a single protocol on the Terra blockchain called Anchor, which held almost 80% of all the UST in circulation. Anchor protocol was initially offering a stable interest rate of 20% per year on UST. Currently sits around 16 to 18. This high rate led many people to accuse Anchor protocol of being a Ponzi. But in reality, they used a standard mechanism that banks use as well, that allow them to offer higher annual returns. Basically, they gave less returns to their very wealthy clients in exchange for some Anchor shares, which gives them the right to vote on how the protocol operates. So they could offer higher returns to smaller investors and attract more people or liquidity to the protocol. So what happened to Luna? In early March, Terra co-founder Doug Kwon announced that Terraform Labs had gifted $1.2 billion worth of Luna to the LFG, which will be converting it to UST and using it to buy BTC. Doug Kwon also announced that Terra was aiming to accumulate $10 billion worth of BTC to protect UST's peg, with $3 billion being accumulated by LFG and the remaining $7 billion being accumulated over time by seigniorage fees. Seigniorage fees is the profit made by a protocol when it issues currency. The plan was to deposit all its BTC into a non-custodial reserve pool where anyone could redeem UST for BTC the same way they do with Luna. The assumption there was that if UST were to drop significantly below its peg, rational market participants would opt to swap their $1 UST for $1 worth of Bitcoin rather than $1 worth of Luna. This will take the sell pressure off Luna and prevent the death spiral scenario. A month later, Terraform Labs gifted another $900 million worth of Luna to the LFG to sell for more Bitcoin. LFG was giving frequent updates about its BTC buys, which will happen in waves of around $100 million at the time. The LFG made all its crypto wallet addresses public for everyone to see the accumulation in real time and achieved its target of backing 20% of UST's circulation supply. On the 7th of May, the Terra team withdrew a massive amount of UST from a trading pool on Curve Finance, 85 million to be exact. The moment the Terra team withdrew this UST, an unknown whale sold around 85 million UST for 84.5 million USDC on Curve Finance. And this pushed UST slightly below its peg. Because the crypto market had already been crashing in the days before, risk-averse individuals and institutions with exposure to UST immediately started selling out of safety concerns. Alex Mizinski, the CEO of Celsius, said that they pulled all their assets and their users' assets out of Anchor protocol as soon as the UST fell slightly below its peg. And this was almost certainly the case with similar crypto apps that have exposure to UST and the Anchor protocol. 9 billion out of the 14 billion UST held on Anchor protocol was withdrawn within the first 48 hours of USD falling slightly below its peg. This mass exodus from Anchor protocol created intense sell pressure for USD as everyone exchanged it for other stable coins, and this pushed USD significantly below its peg. When that happened, various market participants started burning USD to mint Luna for a quick profit, which of course requires selling Luna right away to realize profit. Since Luna's price had already been crashing along with the rest of the crypto market, caused sell pressure on Luna. This brought the sudden increase in its circulation supply and crashed its price even further. And the moment Luna's market cap fell below USD's market cap, Luna officially entered the death spiral, which more Luna being minted while its price was reduced to ashes. At the end, Terra validators agreed to hold the chain until they can find a solution to restore the USD peg. LFG revealed later on that it had basically emptied the BTC reserves and that they have spent 80,000 BTC to try and restore its peg. There is speculation that the same entity that dumped USD on Care Finance also opened a short position on BTC, knowing that the LFG will be selling its BTC on the open market, thereby crashing Bitcoin's price. By Friday the 13th of May, both Luna and USD had flatlined, dealing a 40 billion blow to Luna and USD holders and tens of billions of more dollars in damage to the individuals, institutions, protocols, and smart contract cryptocurrencies that had exposure to Terra's ecosystem. To fix the situation, there have been some proposals from the Terra Foundation. There have been a few proposals, but now let's see what Terra's final recovery proposal looks like. Terra has already forked, with the old Terra chain being known as Terra Classic and the new as Terra Chain. Those with Luna and USD in their wallet will have received a portion of Luna's new supply. The initial supply of Luna is the same as the initial supply of old Luna, which is 1 billion, and it will be distributed as follows: 30% to the community pool, 35% to holders of Luna prior Terra's collapse, 10% to holders of Luna after Terra's collapse, 10% to holders of USD prior to Terra's collapse, and 15% to USD holders after Terra's collapse. Luna coins will be slowly vested to Luna and USD holders within the next 3 years. And this should cover more than 80% of their Luna and USD holdings prior to Terra's collapse. In Luna value, of course, not in US dollars. Money and finance have been around in one form or the other since the dawn of human civilization. Crypto is just the latest digital avatar. In upcoming years, we might see every financial service that we use in today's fiat system being rebuilt for the crypto ecosystem. We've already seen asset issuance and exchange, borrowing, lending, custody, and derivatives built for crypto. So what's next? The first generation of DeFi dApps rely heavily on collateral as a safeguard. That is, you need to already own crypto and provide it as a collateral in order to borrow more crypto. More traditional unsecured borrowing and lending will need to rely on an identity system so that borrowers can build up credit and increase their borrowing power. Unlike today's identity and credit systems, however, a decentralized identity will have to be both universal and privacy preserving. Moreover, we are also seeing innovation in the insurance space. Many of today's DeFi loans are over-collateralized, meaning that loans seems inherently safe because of the generous cushion of assets held in reserve. But the black swan of DeFi is smart contract vulnerabilities. If a hacker finds and exploits a bug in the open source code for a dApp, millions of dollars could be drained in an instant. Teams like Nexus Mutual and Insure Ace are building decentralized insurance that will make users whole in the event of smart contract hacks. Another trend we're seeing is better user experience. The first generation of dApps was built by blockchain enthusiasts for blockchain enthusiasts. These dApps did a great job of demonstrating exciting new DeFi possibilities, but the usability left something to be desired. The latest iterations of DeFi apps are prioritizing design and ease of use in order to take open finance to a wider audience. In the future, we expect that crypto wallets will be the portal to all of your digital asset activity, just like an internet browser today is the portal of the world's news and information. Imagine a dashboard that shows you not just assets you own, but how much you have locked up in different open finance protocols, loans, pools, and insurance contracts. Across the DeFi ecosystem, we're also seeing a move towards decentralizing governance and decision-making. Despite the word decentralized in DeFi, many projects today have master keys for the developers to shut down or disable dApps. This was done to allow for easy upgrades and provide an emergency shut-off valve in case of buggy code. However, as the code becomes more battle-tested, we expect developers will give up these backdoor switches. The DeFi community is experimenting with ways to allow stakeholders to vote on decisions, including through the use of blockchain-based decentralized autonomous organizations, otherwise known as DAOs. As a last note, we noticed that something magical is happening in the open financial system. Crypto is bringing money online, and we are seeing a quantum leap in what's possible when it comes to the functionality of money, despite the various obstacles in that journey, such as the case of Luna. It's a rare opportunity to see an entirely new industry blossom from scratch. The DeFi space will at first play catch up with today's financial services industry. But over time, it's hard to even fathom what innovations will come about when the power to build financial services is democratized to anyone who can write code. The future looks bright, and we should all be excited to be part of it. So that's it from me. Thank you very much. If you'd like to receive a copy of this presentation, then please send an email to squaredefi@gmail.com. Also, I have some links that I could share on the chat for anyone who wants to follow the Luna case even further. There's a lot to be said, and if anyone is interested, I could share that. I will basically share that those links right now. So that's it from me. Just give me a second to copy.
Thank you very much, Andonis, for this fantastic presentation. I can see that we have some questions and answers within the chat, but we can address them at the end of the presentation. So, George, are you ready to share your screen, maybe, or just talk? I'm not sure, you don't have a presentation, right?
Presentation is not here, but I will have that ready for everyone in the next couple of days. So if if you need that, I'll definitely be able to provide that, but not ready for today, unfortunately.
I'm sure you're gonna do great.
Thank you very much.
Andonis, would you mind stopping the sharing of your screen so we can see yours?
Just 1 second, please. Okay.
No, you can, if you can stop the sharing.
Okay, just bear with me 1 second, excuse me. Sorry, I have troubles with the controls here on the Zoom. Just bear with me 1 second. Excuse me. There we go. Thank you.
Great. Ready to go?
Just 1 sec.
George, you're good to go.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining as well. Yeah, and I think, yeah, thank you as well, Antonis, for that. It's some great info on Luna, especially what happened, and it's great to give insight and that sort of in-depth knowledge from what happened, because it's definitely obviously very relevant to where we are in the crypto market at the moment. So I'm going to just discuss financial privacy within crypto, but also within the macroeconomic system in itself. It's something that gets overlooked quite a lot, I think, in crypto especially. We talk about DeFi, we talk about the mainstream coins, but we maybe overlook the use cases for financially being private on these open source blockchains. So I think first I want to discuss the problems with the current economic system. So it gives people that sort of backstory of where we are. I know people may have already, especially who are in the crypto space, already know, but just really touching on where we are currently in the macroeconomic system, just to sort of compare it with crypto itself and why we need privacy. So central planners, ultimately, you know, we can see that they print money into existence, usually during crisis times, whether that's you believe this is something that is orchestrated or not, or just something that they take a chance on, in the sense that it's their opportunity to start printing money. But what happens is the increase of the money supply dilutes the purchasing power of the dollar, euro, pound, etc., which creates inflation. And this is really the reason why we're here today. And why the world is at very high inflation rates currently, and why the prices of everything is basically through the roof, and will you know, potentially continue to do that. I fully expect that to continue as the decade goes on. Obviously, this has been mishandled for a while now, leaving economics really in the hands of a few rather than really being decentralized. And you know, leaving it to these sort of central planners has not got us in a good position. It's got us now in a sense where a lot of people around the world can't even afford really to live in basic need, never mind try and prosper. So another issue, I guess, is taxation rates, because when the government then borrows from central banks, when central banks print, the government borrows at a certain rate, and then it needs to repay that plus interest. And these funds also are raised through further taxation on the people. So the average person, again, gets a double-edged sword of either inflation and tax. Usually the tax comes with some riots, but the inflation side of things gets covered under the radar, and no one really knows about that inflation has actually been eating away at their savings for many years, which we are obviously seeing today globally. There are also moral issues with tax. I'm not saying that we should evade tax or anything like that, but what I am saying is that a lot of tax expenditure from governments at this point is not fully transparent whatsoever. So we don't even know really where a lot of these funds go. Where I guess that is a use case of a lot of blockchain technology, where, you know, governance should be, especially at a government level, should be transparent for the public to see. And in that case, you know, taxation could be on an open source blockchain, which is transparent rather than private. So that would be my first point, where, you know, we're not looking, I'm not, you know, just a privacy coin advocate. I do believe there are certain use cases for transparent blockchains also. Why do we need privacy? Well, it depends on where you live. It depends on what kind of environment you're in as well. I think many governments around the world are in different shapes and sizes and different ways of managing their civilians. So if you have a very tyrannical government, you might need a bit more privacy than somewhere that is an open and free state. Now, the danger is that if everything becomes visible only to government, especially when the state begins to descend on people's freedoms, there's a danger there. And especially when there's going to be potentially laws where maybe people don't agree on, there could be issues in that sense where they can ban your account for just having a different opinion, or for doing even just posting a post online which they don't like. It could be at this point anything at this moment in time. I'm not saying that we should be completely free and cause issues online, but what I'm saying is a lot of things can be misconstrued, and the governments at this point are working with big tech to censor a lot of people even just having an opinion. In the past, cash transactions were predominant, and despite the issues discussed with fiat currencies and how inflation and tax sort of eat away at people's savings and at people's livelihoods, at least there was a certain level of privacy once using cash. We've started to see, based on either political beliefs or medical status or even social credit scores in China, that you can be banned from using certain services if you, like I said, have a certain opinion, which is dangerous, because then it will inevitably lead to people not having an alternative opinion other than the status quo, or you will be punished, basically. And that's what we're seeing basically in China. And we're starting to see it slowly move potentially to the West. And we're also, I guess, seeing in the future, looking at CBDCs, which would be a competition, in my opinion, a no competition to crypto, but it will be introduced by central banks, where they'll provide zero privacy and full control by the state using smart contracts on their CBDCs, which are obviously fully trackable, most likely taxed in real time. You'll probably be denied if you post something online they don't like. You'll probably not be able to go on a train. That's actually what in China is actually happening right now. If your social credit score is of a certain level, you can't get on a plane. So these things are dangerous, in my opinion. So again, this is why I'm an advocate for privacy, and also for crypto as well, because I don't know if the CBDCs will be very popular, but I think we have to prepare for that. So, I mean, whatever your opinions were on the last couple of years, I think there were I think there was one example of truckers in Canada. Obviously, it doesn't matter what your opinion was on those guys protesting the mandates in Canada, but just the fact that the government in Canada was able basically to freeze 76 bank accounts worth $3.2 million. There were rumors also of a possible bank run at that point due to some panic regarding temporary banking outages. And even Americans who have donated to those truckers, their personal information was exposed to Give, Send, Go crowdfunding platform, and have been publicly targeted and harassed as well. So governments can, at this point, freeze accounts just based on who you want to give money to. Of course, there is a limit. I'm not saying we should ever fund certain activities, but having an opinion is coming close to that sort of society now, where if you have an opinion, you can actually have things seized and your bank account seized, which is quite dangerous. I guess let me speak quickly though about what the US dollar is and fiat currency, if it was a cryptocurrency. I think it's an interesting fact to know that it's really not a comparison between what US dollars and fiat currency is compared to crypto. So if the US dollar was a cryptocurrency, it would have 27 trillion in circulation right now, unlimited supply cap. So, you can print it until it basically is worth zero. Only one node, so obviously zero decentralization. 1% of holders own 30% of the full supply. 25% of supply minted in the last 6 months. Well, I would say probably, yeah, about a year, 2 years now. 38 million notes printed every day. Loses at least 5% of value every year. Now that's close to 10. In a bear market since its conception. So it's always been devaluing since its inception. So basically, the US dollar is one of the worst cryptocurrencies if it was a cryptocurrency, or if not, is the worst. So you can't compare the tokenomics from a crypto coin, which the good coins that are not, for example, Bitcoin and, Ethereum and whatnot, they have fixed supplies, which means that you can't print more Bitcoin into existence, which will devalue the coin value, basically. Yeah, the central planners cannot just print more Bitcoin and then devalue what you have in your pocket. And this is what is solved in the crypto space. I would like to also now discuss further on the actual privacy side of crypto. So there is a massive use case for Bitcoin and Ethereum. We do advocate for them. We love them and what they've done for the space. However, they're not private and they're not uncensorable. I think this has been avoided by many people in the space, in a sense, to talk about. They are possibly vulnerable to asset seizures, censorship. Of course, they have done that as well. It does solve the inflation issue, like I said, in our system, but not privacy. So you can effectively be frozen sensors and used to track you and obviously persecute for your actions. When the GoFundMe funds were stolen by the government and people shouted sort of Bitcoin fixes this, it doesn't fix this because like every sort of public cryptocurrency, it can be censored at an exchange or even wallet level if they decided to do that. But even more than that, your identity can be linked to your activity via blockchain analysis, which has grown like exponentially in the last couple of years, leaving you vulnerable for prosecution if you dare to donate to any cause that is not approved by a body, or to anything that is considered out of favor. The solutions in a cashless society, I believe the solutions are privacy coins. They don't get much, I guess, mainstream view or mainstream broadcast, such as Monero. So that's Monero, the most used privacy coin. So if I was to pay someone in Monero, no one will know that Monero has exchanged from my wallet to that other person's wallet, and vice versa. No one knows how much Monero you have in your wallet. Again, with Bitcoin, it's not only just to, let's say, be private in a sense of avoiding government, because that's not something we only advocate, this sort of thing. It's also because hackers will know how much Bitcoin you have in your wallet because it's fully transparent and you are open. It's basically having a massive sign saying I've got 300 Bitcoin in my wallet, and that hacker can try and target that. And with Monero and another coin, Pirate Chain, which is another smaller project, a newer project, who are again privacy coins by default, you cannot, no one will know that you have that amount or even have transacted in those currencies, which have a lot of value in a sense that they can have a lot of use cases, especially in a cashless society. Another protocol that I'm very fond of is Dero, D-E-R-O, which is privacy smart contracts. So it basically provides privacy, let's say, obviously it's the private version of Ethereum. It's a very new project and something that I feel will grow very well. And it's fully private by default. Privacy coins, obviously unable to be tracked, but it's not, I'm not just advocating this as, people might just think this is for criminals or a tool against, tyrannical governments, but businesses will not want their private transactional data open to surveillance by competition and also by hackers or theft. I believe that businesses will want to move their let's say smart contract activity onto more private protocols, and that's potential for potentially Dero as an example, where there will be a use case for that, and also Monero as a store of value in a more private, almost like what a Swiss bank account used to be. I believe Monero is that as an option, and it's something that should be used as a tool, not just something that I say you should only use the privacy coins. I believe these are tools that could be used for good, and I think that they have a lot of use case, and something that has been only really bubbling under the surface. But I think as we move forward, as CBDCs become more popular and regulation starts to come in, I think you'll see a lot more use cases for these coins. I think one massive advice that I can give for all coins, for you that are listening, is to at a minimum get your crypto off of the exchanges and into wallets that you control. Because if you don't own your keys, the private keys, ultimately those crypto are basically not really owned by you. If you have it on Coinbase, you're open to hacks, as they are stored in a centralized way. You're also potentially could be banned from using them, or even withdrawing those. So getting your crypto off of the exchanges and into your own hosted wallets is definitely something that I would do if you're invested in the crypto space. I think the current, just to sort of end, the current sort of economic system, it seems to be in a massive decline and collapse at this point. I think the central banks are sort of run out of tools to sort of save the economy at this rate. I think it's a sort of slow collapse at this point. It's kind of moving a little bit faster in terms of inflation. And with us at cryptonymous.consulting.com, we actually believe it's time to remove your wealth out of the banking system before it sort of gets too late and they sort of potentially have capital controls and all sorts of different things. We believe privacy assets, inflation resistant assets. So obviously we look at crypto, but we also look into precious metals and physical assets as well. We help you learn the privacy tools and strategies to sort of thrive through this inflation period. And feel free to email us at info@cryptonymous.consulting.com. Also some real good source of materials for background knowledge on macroeconomics is G. Edward Griffin's book, Creature from Jekyll Island, and Mike Maloney's History of Money, which is on YouTube. Really good sources of material just to learn from basic how this current system is built and why it's kind of built to collapse, and why crypto, yes, will be the next system to come in, but we don't want to be down a sense using CBDCs, where I think would almost be worse than where we are. So if we, move in the sense that we need to move into the free crypto world of, the Bitcoins, the privacy coins, the Ethereums, the smart contracts in that side, rather than focus on what will be given to us in terms of CBDCs. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to any questions.
George, thank you so much for this amazing speech around financial privacy. We will move ahead to the next section of our webinar today and try to address any questions from the attendees. I can see that we have one question in the Q&A from Michael. He asks, will the Classic eventually disappear as it is available now together with the new Luna? i.e., not sure how they will coexist, or will one disappear? Anthony, would you like to try to answer this question?
Yes, of course. So this is a complicated issue that I don't have an answer for. It's just the best I can speculate is that Terra Classic will eventually yes, it will eventually disappear after a period of the staking ends in certain protocols. Already, a new Terra ecosystem already started implementing protocols from the previous Terra chain, and slowly they start transferring everything to the new ecosystem. But yeah, to answer the question, I believe that Terra Classic eventually will disappear. Yes, and we will stick with Terra Luna if that's the case.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to ask from the attendees if they have any questions to post it in the chat. Before we do so, I wanted to ask one general question to Andonis. What do you think will be the future of Luna? I mean, not from an investment point of view, but do you think that this chain, this network, this blockchain, does it have a real future after everything that we have seen around it?
Personally, I don't see how investors and institutions could trust again something that went so wrong. Also, I would like to share on the text, I will share it now, some links that you can follow the development of the new Terra ecosystem. But yeah, it doesn't look good, to be honest. And lots of information came out about previous kind of scams that Doc One and the Chai Corporation was involved in. So yeah, I wouldn't bet on Luna anymore, to be honest. Not just because I lost money, like everybody lost money in this. It's just with the way everything happened, I personally lost trust, and personally, I'm not touching Luna ever again.
Thank you.
That's
I really hope that this Terra Luna case becomes a lesson for many, investors in the space and people that would like to speculate with virtual assets. It is very sad to see a lot of people losing their life savings through these scams and through these bad actors in the space. And thank you again for all this information around the Luna Terra case. I don't know if you have any more questions. I think that you did a very good job, guys, because we don't have a lot of questions today. So I don't know, would you like to add anything, George, to the presentation of Andonis? What's your opinion on the Luna?
Yeah, I think the trust is gone. So I don't know how it can really recover. I think it definitely should be a lesson. I did see some gaps and I saw this death spiral potential when looking at the white paper. I spoke with someone who's actually a part of our team, and he done an amazing research piece on UST before I was actually going to use Anchor and put some funds into it. And he actually saw this sort of death spiral possibility, and I basically he told me to avoid it, and it was amazing to see it happen only 2 months later. So I think before you invest in any of these things, you should really get to know what you're investing in, and I think that's the main thing I have to say to this.
Can I add something on this? Yeah, sorry. What I wanted to say is that the information was there, like George said. If you read the white paper, like you can see the dangers. It's just I believe the hype was so much after, let's say, Luna went from 35 cents to $119 within a year. People made crazy money out of this. So the information and on white paper and lots of people on Twitter was talking about it, but I think through all this hype and excitement, I think investors, including me, we failed to recognize the danger, and we didn't want to hear about this. Even some people get very aggressive defending Anchor protocol on Twitter and etc. But yeah, like we said, that should be a good lesson. And when you read white papers about the upcoming project, you should definitely check the tokenomics and do your own research, as everybody says. But especially after the Luna case, this is very, very important to understand where you invest and the potential dangers. So that's it.
Excellent, guys. I see we have 2 more questions. Let's address the first one. It's from Sarah. She's asking, do you think this is the end of algorithmic stablecoins in general?
No, I don't, because like I said, we saw that all this rising interest that we saw in Luna and UST was because of this disturbing idea of decentralized stablecoin. I don't know.
I think that Antonis has froze. George, you wanna?
Yeah, while he's gone, I think.
No.
Are you back? Go on.
Antonis, you froze for a little bit. Would you please repeat?
Sorry. Yeah. So what I was saying that the idea of a decentralized stablecoin, in my opinion, is excellent, and we need a decentralized stablecoin if we want to be responsible for our money. Because if we don't have a decentralized stablecoin or something like that, then you cannot really function in the crypto space. You see, like USDT or USDC are heavily regulated, and other stable coins. So we don't want that at the end of the day. So the idea, at least out of all the situation of Luna, with Luna, like this is the one good thing that came out of it, in my opinion. The conception of a decentralized stablecoin. So yes, I believe in the future that we will eventually manage to have a working stable coin.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I agree. I think we will definitely. There is use case for them, 100%. But I think it just wasn't built correctly, and we will learn from that. And the space will build something that will be able to maneuver and maybe avoid, obviously, this sort of thing happen again.
Excellent. We have another question from Shai. He is asking he's stating, today more governments are examining the ways to regulate blockchain, crypto, etc. He is asking what kind of regulations, if at all, are needed, and how could we prevent bad code of conduct and the misuses of DeFi? Any ideas there?
I think it's an interesting topic. It's more of an ethical one. I think it's interesting because I'm not for regulations, especially with the fact that the space is growing. I know that there will be, of course, scams, and there will be, of course, potential hacks. But the market itself, without regulation, can usually come up with solutions to avoid and to defend against those counterproductive activities. That's my personal opinion, but I'm sure there's millions of other opinions on that. I believe there will be a lot of regulation. And again, that's why I feel that there needs to be tools that we can use that can avoid certain regulations. Because if we look at the fiat system right now, the regulations are, just so vast that people can't do anything basically anymore. Millions of people still don't have access to it. And I think this is why the crypto space has so much potential, because it gives access to the financial sector to pretty much everyone who has an internet connection.
Antonis, any opinions?
No, just my thoughts on that is that, first of all, we do need some sort of regulation, but that's a fine line and or where we're standing. I mean, right now, governments are trying to regulate blockchain and crypto assets without having the knowledge of what they're dealing with. And this is very dangerous because we see radical moves from the government trying to tax or regulate assets that they don't fully understand. So yes, I really don't know what's coming with the regulations, and that all I know is that it's, in my opinion, it's a dangerous situation, and we all should worry about this. And as a community in the crypto space, we should, yes, try and make up our own rules and potentially collaborate with some parts of the government that they are responsible for regulation. And also that it's our responsibility to educate as much as we can people from the government that they're trying to regulate the crypto space.
Absolutely. My two cents on that is that there is place for regulation also in the DeFi space. There are some bad actors, as in any industry. And it's also our responsibility as a community. I'll give you a very recent example. We had a case with OpenSea insider trading. And in this case, the crypto community came together and they would identify the history of transactions on the Ethereum blockchain. And they would make a case that they took eventually to the regulators through public domains. In order to stop this criminal activity taking place within the NFT space and insider trading. So I think that there is some space for regulation, but this regulation must not stop the innovation in the space. And there will always be a cat and mouse game between the regulators and the actual innovation that's happening in the space. But yeah, let's see, there's a lot of talks about regulations coming from all over the world. Time will only tell how the space will evolve. Going on to the next question, I'm being a little bit conscious of the time. We have a question from Hajjaj. He's asking, do you think the crypto economy will recover to where it was after the recent case with Luna?
I can start on that one. Yeah, I believe, yeah, we had a saying in crypto, like nothing goes down in a straight line, but that was before Luna's case. So, yeah, but yeah, in general, yeah, markets go down, markets go up. It's just at this point, due to the economic situation around the world, like investors in general, not only in crypto, are very uncertain. And actually, I don't even know where, as an investor, where to put my money right now. So crypto is the only logical choice that I can think of, and more, and Bitcoin to be exact. I don't want to sound like a Bitcoin maxi or anything, but as I see now, the only secure option for the future right now, it's Bitcoin for me. I'm not against other crypto or anything. I'm just saying, as it seems, like Bitcoin, it goes on for so many years without a hack, and it goes strong. And also there's a massive community behind Bitcoin and maximalists that I'm sure they will not sell even if it goes to 10 cents. So,
of course, we need to remind our audience that this is not an investment advice, just to be on the safe side. George, would you like to add anything on that?
I think, yeah, well, I think it will recover. There's just of course, a global, everything crash at the moment. But I do believe that crypto will probably be one of the first to come out of this at some point, because I do feel that inflation will continue in the fiat system, which will at one point or another force people to go further into the crypto or to get out of the traditional financial system and move their wealth out of there into something that will potentially make them something, and not lose the money in the accounts. So I do feel that there will be, and there's still a lot of institutions pumping into crypto. That's not stopped, and I think that will further continue as well. So yeah, I do feel that it will recover.
Can I add something on this? There are many developers working in the crypto space and DeFi, and trying to basically make cryptocurrencies more approachable for the general public. Plus, what George said, that the interest coming from institutions is massive. And if we look the on-chain data, it paints a completely different picture than what we see at the current markets right now. Like the markets might be down and everything, but as we can see, institutions keep accumulating crypto assets more and more by every passing day. So yes, to add on that, yeah, I believe eventually once institutional money comes into crypto, and also when crypto is available to the general public, I believe we will see a rise up on the crypto market for sure.
On to another question from Hamza. He's asking, what about the risk on smart contract for DeFi applications? How can we trust our tokens are safe within the DeFi environment?
So with smart contracts, as I explained earlier, like at this point, we still have to trust the team behind those smart contracts. But eventually, as I mentioned, as these smart contracts become battle tested and in general tested, like it should run on its own. It's like automated function. That's the point of smart contract, that you don't need human interference in it. So smart contract will have like one job to execute, and this is it, without emotion, without any human interactions. So yeah, we're still early, and to answer that, no, you do not know that your assets are safe. You're taking a calculated risk. You should see like if smart contracts are audited and for what. And again, fundamentals for the protocol from the team for the time being. But yes, at this point, DeFi offers a lot of opportunities, but there is a huge risk still. So hoping within the next couple of years that teams will make this better and sort this situation out slowly.
George, would you like to add anything to that?
I think, no, I was going to say for sure the team and knowing the sort of the background on the white paper and certainly looking up the team, like you said, Andonis, it's a very important thing to know that they have a good community. And it's always difficult because there's so much hype on Twitter and all these other places, and it's hard to trust anyone. But if yes, it's always best to do your own research and to really look into the projects more.
Okay, guys, I see one last question. Mohammed is asking, I'm new to crypto, how crypto is valued against fiat currency. What I would suggest for Mohammed, because this is some very basic things to discuss, is to enroll for the introduction to DeFi and the introduction to digital currency. These are some courses delivered by the University of Nicosia entirely for free online, and you can find out all the basics in order for you to pursue this path of knowledge within the crypto sphere. So I'm being a little bit conscious of time. I understand that George also needs to leave right now. So I would like to thank our presenters once again. Thank also the attendees. Some very interesting questions came up. And with this, I would like to close this webinar. We will have the recording available on the Decentralized Chapter's YouTube channel. And I would like to say goodbye to everyone and keep it real, stay in the zone when it comes to the cryptosphere. We will be back with more webinars in the future. And thank you all for being here today again.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
Good night.
Thank you. Take care.
Yes. Bye.